Hello anybody and thanks for tuning into Monday Morning Handicapping. This is a live handicapping stream for Del Mar Pacific Classic Day, Saturday, August 22nd. I'm just going to be doing some live handicapping. I'll talk aloud of what I'm thinking and show any newcomers sort of the handicapping process, and if you're more of a veteran player, maybe you can collaborate with me and maybe I'll mention another horse or two that you want to add to your ticket. But ultimately, I'm just going to be handicapping aloud, talking through it, talking about what I'm seeing, what I'm thinking, what each race's circumstances makes me want to consider. And I'm just going to dive in. I'm going to start with race number 8 and finish on race number 11, which is the late pick 4. If I have time, I'll go over some of the earlier races, but I'm going to focus on races 8 through 9, 10, 11. Yeah, 8 through 11, that late pick 4 sequence. So I'll keep an eye on the chat if anyone wants to chime in, collaborate a little bit. Other than that, I'm just going to start handicapping aloud, starting with race number 8, optional claimer, non-winners of one other than for 3-year-olds and upward, which have never won 21,000. Etc., etc. So basically, I'm just going to compare the class level of the horses, or the class level that each horse has run pretty well at, and just sort of compare, see what they've done best. So starting with number 1, Charlie Foxtrot. See in the pedigree, Army Mule, and I think in one of my Derby contender videos, Army Mule's not typically a router, so he's going a mile this time, and I can see on his racing form here, his past performances, that he hasn't run a mile yet. So I'm not sure if routing is something he wants to do, but every horse is different. They can outrun their pedigree. So we'll just take a look. He's raced at Del Mar 3 times with 2 wins and a third. Again, never at this distance. A 4-year-old. So go back and look at his 3-year-old campaign, which is all of these races. Actually, before we start diving in, I'm just going to do a brief scan of all these bold numbers, the Beyer speed figures, and get a sense of everyone's sort of preferred running style. So this horse likes to be a little bit close to the pace in these sprints, so might have some speed factored in. So we got mid 80s, high 70s. Showed speed earlier in its career. Lately he's been more of a stalker type. So we got some mid 80s, there's a 60 last time out. Not too far off the pace, maybe mid-pack-ish. I see a 94 most recently for this horse, some mid to high 80s, high 70s. Looks like this horse has some speed. The 5, looks like it's got some speed, just ran a 90, mid 80s speed figures. 6, bold number scan, has cracked 90 before. Cracked mid 80s, typically low 80, high 70. Just off the pace, couple of back-to-back 90s and the 3 90 or higher. Well, another one down here, so 4 90 plus Beyer speed figures, pretty solid. And I can see Justify Sire out of a Curlin Dam, some good breeding there. Mid 90s, 100, mid 90 down here. A little up and down this horse, some speed. So there looks like there's a little bit of speed. I'm not expecting a complete speed duel. Pretty consistent low 90s here. So not a ton of speed. Looks like low 90s could get the job done here. This horse stretching out with a sire that doesn't scream routes to me. He did win at 7 furlongs last time out. He's third off a layoff, and there's kind of a rule of thumb that horses can improve the third off. I don't know how much that holds today, but it does have improving Beyer speed figures off that layoff. So it's about an 8 or 9 month layoff. So Andy's 4 now, could be improving in his 4-year-old year. Be the next out winner in a field of 9 at Del Mar. Pretty fast early pace. This horse was pretty close to the pace. Finished a final 1/8 of a mile in less than 13 seconds. trainer's going pretty well, 19%, 15% on the year. Taking a little drop down in class. Did not run well in this allowance. Non-winners of 2 lifetime. Broke through the gate. Chased between horses. Pretty fast race and faded. Stretching out. Seems like it might benefit this runner. Has some speed to stay up in route races perhaps. Kind of wilted when he was running those sprints, trying to stay up close to the pace. So maybe a little more gradual pace early on. Going a longer distance could benefit this horse, but speed figures are pretty light. Honky Tonk Highway, City of Light. That's a pretty good sire right now. Distorted Humor, I believe I've heard, pretty known for throwing out some fast runners, so the dam is by Distorted Humor. Never raced at Del Mar. 0 for 3 at the distance with 2/3. Coming from back east, Churchill Downs, Kentucky, Fairgrounds, New Orleans, I believe. Last race at a mile, was on a sloppy track. Just kind of ran pretty evenly. Was the favorite that race. Doesn't have a win since sprinting back in November of 2024. And for anyone who may or may not be aware, I intentionally handicap without the odds. I don't like to be swayed by them. Just do a more honest assessment without being, again, if I like a horse and he's a long shot, I might downgrade him because there must be something I'm missing, or I might want to toss a favorite just because he's the favorite. So I settle on a horse without the morning line odds, and then I can go see what their odds are, and if I really like the horse, I just get the price that they're given to me, and I just go with my initial handicapping. So this horse, just no wins really on the page except this one back again November 2024. Ran against Built, who's pretty good. Just not seeing a ton of names that stick out as reasons why this horse should be losing. Looks like a bit of a closer. The trainer is 1 for 1 with a nice ROI with horses off of this kind of break. The trainer and jockey won together. This horse was claimed for $50,000, then $62,500. Bit of a closer, probably belongs around this level. Just not really getting the job done all too often. We'll keep moving on. Not a total toss, but I'm just not impressed by anything on the page for that one. I guess if we take a look at the workouts, working out 5 furlongs at Del Mar, just fine. Nice 4 furlong workout here, 6th best of 113 on that day. This horse since July 19th, 2 workouts, pretty moderate. 3 Berlin Wall, Practical Joke, Uncle Mo, pretty good horses. Sires that pop up pretty frequently. This last one was Optional Claimer, State Restricted, non-winner one. At this level, the last 4 times. Contested for the lead in one of them, lost by 19 lengths, 8 lengths, 5.5 lengths. It was only a 6-horse field. It was up near the pace. Took a couple months off, came back, ran pretty poorly. Lost to a bunch of others that are in this race today. Beat Magnified by 5 lengths here. Looks like this horse is sort of peaked out at the 86 was his best. I don't see him jumping back up to an 86 off of that last effort. The trainer's pretty cold, only 4%. Win rate's 2 for 45. These horses just aren't firing at this time. Decent workout since that last race. Could improve, but hard to see him cracking 90. He's yet to crack 90 as a 4-year-old. His last race at Del Mar, won by 7 lengths. So hard to say he dislikes the track, but that last effort just, I'd like to see a little bit more on the speed figures. Number 4, Native Land. Mastery, Broken Bow. I see Candy right here. Good router, Broken Bow. From everything I've heard on podcasts and whatnot, Broken Bows have some good stamina. This horse is 1-for-1 at Del Mar. At this level, last time out, July 18th. Since then, 4 furlong work, 5-102, 4-48. This horse was claimed for $40,000. This one at a mile and a 16th, mile and an 1/8 on off tracks. Grade 3, Peter Pan and Aquarian's a decent horse. Tone, I think, is pretty good. Seminole Chief was a next out winner, closing on the turf there. Came back to a synthetic race. Made a little move here, just sort of faded. Another synthetic attempt. No good. Off track here. Ran pretty well. This horse has run pretty well on a wet track. You can see 5 starts, 2 wins, 2 seconds, and a third. Fast track, no dice, but that was a pretty fast pace early, and the horse just got tired. That was off a 6 or 7 month break anyways. Came back on a sloppy track, ran a bit better. Lost to a next out winner there. Came to Del Mar. Ran some pretty solid fractions. Wired the field in a 9-horse field. So one of the few true speed horses that I saw in my scan through this race. Number 5, a 5-year-old with only 6 starts under his belt. Looks like he took about a year and a half off after his 3-year-old season. It's going pretty good. Won on debut. Came to Del Mar in a 7 furlong sprint. Ran second. Came back, dropped quite a bit from an ungraded stake to an optional claimer. Won that pretty easily. Optional claimer. Won that pretty easily. Fractions aren't lightning, but still pretty young horse. Young in his career. Came back to a turf sprint. Ran pretty fast and stayed on. Lost to a next out winner. Most recently, that 4 we were looking at, this horse lost to that 4. Loomed 3 wide. This horse was out wide as well. Could not get by Native Land. So now kind of comparing these two horses. This horse was 22-1 when it won. This horse was 4-1 when it ran second. Kind of wondering the quality of that field overall. 2 races at Del Mar with 2 seconds. Again, one was that ungraded stake, so pretty tough competition there. Having raced against the 4 last time, maybe presses the pace a little bit, doesn't get too far behind. Number 6, Frosty Indulgent, 1 race at Del Mar, out by Frosted. I believe that horse ran in the Derby a few years back, so definitely a dirt router. So he lost to Tarantino, who came back, did not run very well last time out. Trainer's cold, 0-for-9. Looks like this was this horse's only dirt route on the page. Ran a bit better going 7 furlongs. Hard to say what happened this most recent race. Down on the inside, just didn't fare very well. Horse has cracked 90 at Keeneland. That was his best race, going 7 furlongs. that last race. Cold Trainer, hard to get too enthusiastic. Number 7, Magnify. This is a solid pedigree. Justified Triple Crown winner in Curlin. This horse was the favorite when it did lose to that Native Land. Went a bit wide last in that race. Race before that was the favorite. Race before that was the favorite. Before that, 2-1, 5-1. This horse just hasn't won a race since breaking its maiden. This horse seems to run pretty well, just has not been getting the job done in the last 5 tries at this level. Workout since that last race. Nice 5 furlong workout here. Another 5 furlong, another 5 furlong. Pretty solid. His final quarter was 25.69. This horse didn't really make up that much ground after running pretty slow early. 25.11 here. Didn't make up much ground, but slower throughout. I feel like the 7's had some chances, just obviously not getting the job done. Needed Native Land to tire out, but Native Land held on pretty strongly. Native Land was, what, 29-1 in that rate? 22-1. It's going to be much lower this time around, I'm sure. So, Clouseau, 7 races at Del Mar, no wins, a second, 2/3, 4 wins at the distance. Bernardini, Distorted Humor, $150,000 purchase, a 6-year-old. Let's see, ran 3rd at this level last year in September. Went to Santa Anita, got a win by a nose. Came back to Del Mar, off slow 5 wide. In this race, 5 wide. So going wide in these Del Mar races. Went to Los Al, did not run very well. That's kind of a different track, so I can kind of just scratch that one. Took 5 months off, came back in May, wired the field at Santa Anita, finished in 25.4, so pretty solid finish. Came back in a 6 furlong sprint. Ran pretty evenly, just unable to get past the leader, but was 4 lengths clear of 3rd place. Bump start, rush, chased, rebid. Maybe had a little trip issue there. See the workouts since that last race. So right here, 4 at 49, 5 at 102, 4 at 48, 5 at 1 minute and 4. This horse has shown a little more speed last couple times out. Frasu has not ridden this horse yet, so I don't know how he likes to ride this horse. Trainer's going just fine. 8 wins, 6 seconds, 19/3 from 54 starts. Could kind of press the issue on the 4. Set it up for someone a little further off the pace. Number 9, Omaha Beach. I think that horse was a Derby favorite and got scratched before the Derby, if I remember right. 2 races at Del Mar, a 3rd place finish. 1 try at this distance with a 2nd place finish right here behind Eagle's Flight. I believe that was a half-brother to Flightline. So I believe that horse was pretty solid. Lost to Crude Velocity after that. One of Baffert's, I believe he said, one of his best 3-year-olds. I think is sidelined right now. Came back after that. Ran 2nd to Captivator, who was the next out winner. Probably pull up Equibase and look at what that horse won next time out. Another allowance optional claimer. Try to sprint at Del Mar. Ran evenly. I actually don't mind that. stretching out to a mile because the pace arguably should be a little bit slower. This horse seems to have stamina to run much faster and stay on. Third off a layoff. I don't put a ton of stock into that anymore, but I like the progression since that layoff. An 87 to a 91, stretching out a little bit. So the 9 is interesting to me. Rosario's ridden this horse before. Won sprinting. Tried to stretch out, ran second to Eagles Flight. Again, half to Flightline, I do believe. So the 9 interests me here so far. I think it's got plenty of upside. So go back to the top, another quick scan through. The one I thought the stretch out, even though Army Mule, doesn't scream route to me. I could be wrong, but I thought I covered another Derby contender where that was more of a sprinting pedigree. The buyers are just light. He's going to have to really step it up. This one win was for Maiden 40. Big favorite there. This horse stretching out could make the pace heat up a little bit. Yeah, I'm starting to see that. That's why I'm going to have to go back to the top. Light on the buyers. I think could put a little pressure on the 4. I don't think this horse is going to want to drop back by any means. He's going to secure a spot down on the rail. JJ Hernandez rides, who's won the title at Del Mar before. 2 Honky Tonk Highway. There's no wins since sprinting at Fairgrounds November 2024. It's almost been 2 years, so kind of hard to get excited about this one. Trainer's 0 for 7 at routes this year, or this meet. But does seem to be, well, he's closing in sprints, and oftentimes that's because the race is so fast the leaders get tired. Ran pretty evenly in a not too fast route at Churchill on the sloppy track. 219. I mean, we know Del Mar is going to be a firm track. Weather over the next 3 days changes by 1 degree. This trainer, 6 wins, or 6 starts, only 1 win, but 4 seconds. So his horses are running pretty well. Just not a lot of wins yet. And how would you compare claiming 62.5 to the optional claimer at Del Mar? Berlin Wall. I just don't see this horse making that big of a jump up to run a career best, which is probably what it's going to take to win this. Trainer's only 9% win second off. It doesn't really crank him up second off. This horse looks like might be kind of close to the pace as well. He's lost to Magnify a couple of times, who's just been struggling to get that victory. Just barely beat him one time. Native Land beat Magnify by 2 3/4 lengths. Some separation from Magnify. Trainer 19% second off a break. Horse does have 2 wins, going a little further distance, but on off tracks. Here an ungraded stake. 2 next out winners there. Back to the dirt. Ran second. Oaklawn Park. Which trainer are you talking about? Don't mind the pedigree. I just think the 4 is going to be short and might get pressed. Although this horse did battle last time. Broke in second. I remember. See, I might be able to pull up Formulator, because I think I purchased them via Formulator. And that's how I get them without the morning line odds. That's it. No, I don't want race 1. I want race 8. There it goes. 2 check of runners Ruiz. Yeah. Yeah, not to correct you, he's got 1 off the board, but yeah, that's what I was pointing out. It's only 6 runners, but a win in 4 seconds, so they're close. I've never used Formulator, so I don't really know where to go from here. Second ahead, 42. Lose by 42 lengths. Get pulled up. Oh, grade 1. Well, there's your off the board finish, I suppose. Kind of like the 5, just because, well, let's see, 2 years ago as a 3-year-old, well, it's kind of interesting they dropped him, but it was a lightly raced horse, and he got the job done. Took a 1.5 years off, came back, and has already improved his buyers and has a new career top. He's lightly raced. I doubt he's damaged goods. He's been running pretty well at the old 9. Let's see if I can make this Formulator work for me. The old 9. Kind of look him up. Sorry to go back to Equibase. Let's just see what race this horse won. Yeah, same level, stayed at the same level. But was obviously closing in. Made up ground in the stretch. Wasn't too far off. Could get good aim sitting right on the outside. And I do think the 4s ascend for the most part. The 1 will keep him company. The 4 can battle, though. That's what I got from that last race, but was losing ground. The 5 I'm a little interested in, to be honest. The 6. It's running 91 on the dirt. I was here at Keeneland. And if further ado has taught me anything, there are some horses that seem to just take to Keeneland. So I'm going to assume that was a bit of an anomaly. 7, just not really getting the job done. Two and a quarter lengths behind Magnify. This horse could win, but this horse has just had so many chances. Has lost the last 3 times as the favorite. Not really narrow margins either. And I think could help set it up for someone that might be a little further off the pace. This horse is 0 for 7 at Del Mar, but 4 wins at the distance. I think this horse could handle the distance. I don't mind the sprint last time out. Ran very evenly. Sub 12-second final 8th here and stayed on. That was a pretty fast race, and this horse just stayed on. The race before blew the doors off. I'm only a 4-horse field. The race is at Del Mar, an 85. Does have a 94 at this level going wide. Can be a bit of a closer if need be, perhaps. I don't mind the jockey change. Los Al, I can kind of forgive this race. That track is just a little odd at times. $24.5. That's kind of where he made this middle move. And then 25 point, basically 5, kind of just tired out. Yeah, out of the 11 hole. I don't love the 8, but I am interested. I do like these last 2 races of his. It's Santorina running pretty evenly in those sprints, kind of like the 8. Finished pretty strong. Sub 12-second final 8th and barely lost any ground there. $365 on the Tomlinson. $366. Those are right in line. 0 for 7 at Del Mar. I think that's going to give you. This horse is only 1 for 14 career. It's only broken its maiden. Lost the crude velocity. Ahrens. Let's see who Ahrens is. 5 starts with 3 wins. Just won at Del Mar earlier. That was the race we're looking at. I think 5, 8, 9 is sort of where I'm leaning. I think the 4 should be respected. but I think could face some pace pressure, which he did handle last time. I think this horse just one's gonna have to take a big step up. I think could add that pressure to the 4, but the 4 can also sit right off. So if they're both sort of trying to sit right off of each other, I think that's where it lends towards those stretch out runners, which would be the 8 and the 9. So if it is a more moderate pace, I think the 5 would be right there. I guess a question for anyone who's maybe watching is, how do you think the pace is going to shape up? Do you think 4 is going to go? Do you think the 1 contests? I think this horse just got a pretty nice trip from that post last time out. The 7, that might be a race worth checking the replay out on. But I like the 5 improving off that long layoff. It's already had a career top. And the 8 and the 9 kind of running evenly with solid Tomlinsons for the distance. I think 5 over 8, 9, 4. I think 5 is going to be my top pick. Pretty nice workouts coming in. Do I like the 8 or the 9 better? I sort of like the 8's pedigree, and I think he's going to be better odds because he is 0 for 7 at the track. This horse really came back in a big way. Then they cut him back to a sprint. Now back out to a route. Trainer's 20% with that move. Yeah, 5 over 8, 9 for me. So let me throw that on the picks. Tough race though. Very tough. Feels like a race in the pick 4 I would want to take at least 3 horses in. But now let's check out the odds of those runners. Again, I handicap without looking at the odds, so as not to be swayed. So 5 to 1. Don't mind that. The 8 is 5 to 1, and the 9 is 5 to 1. So I picked 3 5 to 1 shots. Don't see that too often. Magnify 3 to 1. This horse, I love the pedigree, but just has not been getting the job done. As the favorite, not really close margins either. The 4 7 to 2. I'm surprised Magnify is favored over the 4. Well, you went 2 1 9. You picked 2 12 to 1 shots on top. Good luck. That would be a nice start to the pick 4. But I like the 4 more than the 7. So if there is a horse I would add, I would rather add the 4 over the 7, but I have a feeling the betting, those odds are going to swap. That the 4 goes off closer to 3 to 1, and the 7 drifts up to 4 to 1 or so. So I'm going to add that to my picks, just because he's not the favorite. but I think the 4 was getting caught last time, but just held on. It's kind of my thinking there. Double check the pedigree. Yeah, shouldn't have an issue with the distance. So it could be a 4 deep ticket there, but we got to see who else we like in the other races. So the Del Mar Oaks grade 1 fillies for 3-year-olds. So you want to see solid 2-year-old season, improving most of the way, and then continuing where they left off as they start their 3-year-old season, going 1 1/8 on the turf course. So let's see. This horse started in Ireland, didn't get a win, just got her first win at Santa Anita back in May. Came back to Del Mar, won again. Improved on the speed figures, has been steadily improving. Rispoli off, Hernandez back on. Oh, let me do my quick scan for buyer speed figures and running style. So kind of stalking the pace, low 80s. Mid pack, just cracked 80. Little towards the front, it's got a 93, 84, 89. This, oh, where's this horse coming from? UK, Ireland, Great Britain. So coming in with some pretty good runs. No graded stakes, but a step up. And that's where Rispoli goes. A pretty good turf rider. I think he started his career over in Europe somewhere. So he had 1 run over here after shipping from Europe. Couple next out winners, ran a 74. Low 80s, deeper closer. Let's see, low 80s, high 70s, mid pack. Kind of versatile, has been forward before. Came from a little further back last time, 7 wide. Let's see, hit 80 once, low 70s, high 70s. Another European shipper came over, ran a 93. Sitting right off the pace, distance no issue in the grade 1. Actually heard a podcast about this race, and they were pretty high on number 9 after that last run. Thought it'd be most people's singles in the sequence. This horse is a bit of a mid-pack closing type, but not too far off, and the paces were good enough. So, okay, looks like a mid-80s, maybe a 90 will get the job done here. Not a ton of speed, but hard to decipher some of that European form. So stepping up huge. This kind of turns me off of this horse already, but low 80s. Couple months off. Jockey change. Rispoli hops off this horse after a win. See the fraction, 23, 24.38, 25 and change. Sub 30 final. Moderate pace early. Horse was able to stay on. So this horse could stay on, but just up against tougher company today. This horse got 1 win, 5 wide last time out. Trainer's ice cold. 1 win from 36 starts. So we got the fractions here. So he's sub 24 there, and then 23.8 there. Big step up for the 2 as well. So he's second in a grade 2, third in a grade 3. A little more forwardly placed. On an ungraded stake here. It's definitely improved since switching to turf. Just ran a career best speed figure. 23.6 there. 23.6 there. So finished pretty strongly after pretty moderate early pace on a good track. Nice purchase price relative to the stud fee. Anything 10 times. Usually like to take note of that. Horse can be forward. There's one from off of it a little bit, going 7.5. Another big step up, but encouraging last race. Now we got to look at the Europeans. Okay, so it has run left-handed, ran second. These are all straight races. Left-handed, ran fourth on a soft ground. Right-handed, won on good, heavy. So this horse doesn't seem to like a wet ground, perhaps. So you're getting a firm ground at Del Mar. Let's see what the notes say. She's been sharp in her starts, racing overseas this year after beating 29 rivals 2 starts ago. Wow. She stepped up with a fine performance in the stakes placing most recently. She's very live look to her in the American racing debut while attracting the services of Rispoli, who's a pretty good turf rider. Wow, 30 horse field this horse won. It was only 8-1 too. Beat a next out winner. Both horses won next time out. Number 5. Let's see. Sharp winner, well backed, breaking her maiden for South America. Major step up against winners. Respect the fact. Sharp turf outfit. Yeah, this is a huge step up. 24 and change, 20, 28 and 7. They were coming home pretty swift for that final 3/16. Big favorite in this race. Had a pretty slow pace early and just finished on very well, very fast. Just breaking the main, big step up. Inbox. Just ran at Del Mar in the grade 2. Finished second. Stretching out an extra 1/8 of a mile. Has run this distance twice. Broke its maiden running this distance. $23.5. Finishing quarter mile. 23.8. Bit of a deeper closer. Not a ton of speed in this race so far. The 3 might be pretty forward. The 1 could... I don't think the 1 has a ton of speed. The 3, 5 taking a big step up. The 6 looks fine. I like Barrios a lot on the turf. Talking about Lope de Vega, the maiden winner coming off Lasix. That is a good point. See who's run well on and off the Lasix. The 3's done just fine off Lasix. Don't think the pace really sets up for the 6. Peanut Butter Bomb. This was 7 wide in the straight. We got a better run. At 1. That inside. It's a little better coming from off of it. Yeah, take a look. This damn sire is that horse too. This is 1 off Lasix, sprinting. Big step up. Didn't really get too close to winning in box. I just think is up against it. This horse, hard to get too excited about the 7 if I don't like in box as much. Checked at the 16th pole. This horse has been making some moves. This one was first off a layoff. This one had to check with the 16th to go. This horse is a little interesting. Got within a half length of the leader. This sort of flattened out off a 2-month break. And last time I had a check. Would like to see Barrios aboard this one. Where's Barrios riding? Oh, the inbox. So Rosario hops off inbox. Who's he riding? Now Kensington Lane. A grade 1 winner. Grade 3 winner overseas. Pressed leader, prominent, led. This horse definitely will be forward, it would appear. Galileo, it's the damn sire. And final eighth of a mile in 11.3. That's still cruising pretty good. Not the fastest race early, but handled the distance no problem. I mean, 23.3 to 11, so it's speeding up. 24, 23. Five wide, 8 wide. This horse was favored in this race. Had a great start. It's down in the one hole. Big closer. Probably had to go around the entire field. 3 wide, 5 wide, 8 wide. 23.5. Sort of making up ground throughout the entire race. It's faced 10 and 12 horse fields throughout. The outside post doesn't bother me so much just because he's probably going to drop back a bit. Ten's a little interesting. So long as he doesn't go 8 wide again. 5 wide, 6 wide. This horse just always seems to go wide. I guess that's what happens when you're a deep closer. So I do think the 9 looks tough. I'm going to just scan back through and kind of look from a trip standpoint. That's just too big of a step up coming out of a 6 horse maiden race. 11, 10, and 9 horse fields. Beat Soul Sister, Daria. Inbox beat this horse. Going a little bit wide. Who else could go with the 3? Guess the 1's going to want to be a little forward. Who'd you come up with in this race? Who were your top 3? 30 horse field. This horse was only 8 to 1 and won by 2 lengths against 2 next out winners. That's just really sticking out to me. I know it's probably a step up, but only poor races were on soft ground. And it's got Rispoli. With the 3, yeah, the 4, hard to leave the 4 off. The 5, I could do without. 6, like the jockey change, should be rolling late. Pivotal is a pretty good turf sire on my Clermont Stakes race preview. That horse had sired some formerly the Sword Dancer Stakes. It was either the sire or the dam sire. This horse was 7 wide in that race. Rating Party was 8 wide. Yeah, that 4, I like what I'm seeing on the page. I think the big favorite, the 9, I'm guessing it's a big favorite. Grade 1 winner over here already as a use. Can't help but look at this 10. Favored since that debut. Always gets wide though. But when it ran second, it was still 2 3/4 lengths ahead of third place, which I know optional claimer, but on turf, they seem to bunch up at the end. Here, won by 2 1/4. Then this race is super wide. I don't think the added distance will be an issue. Definitely not for the 9. Let's go back and look at that 4. Looks like the 4 is also going to be coming from way behind. So I've kind of started leaning on some closers, but is there a horse I could sort of get away with the running away with it? I guess the 3 would be pretty forward. I think the 1 will kind of be forced to go out of that position. I guess the 1 could drop back. That could leave the 3 somewhat alone. This horse hasn't won anything over a mile though. So I don't think the 3, 4 looks like he'll be rolling late. 5's taking that big step up. The 6 has won at the distance and has that pivotal dam sire. Yeah, I thought the 1 might contest on the front end, but I think that 1 will drop back a little bit. And Walsh gonna set it up for his other. Do you like the 6, the jockey, and that dam sire? Yeah, I do like Walsh's other a bit. Faithful Departed. I think one of these other... Which one was it? 3, yeah. The 3 lost to Faithful Departed, who the 9 demolished. And the 3 hasn't won anything over a mile. I think there might be some distance limitations at this point. I definitely think the 9 is a use. I'm sure he's the morning line favorite. I like the 6 because of that dam sire pivotal. Also, we know what we're getting out of him, or her rather. And the 4, I just think that 9 could be tough to run down second in the States. But yeah, beating 29 other horses, only 8-1 in a 30 horse field, beating 2 next out winners. With Rispoli, I mean, send this horse from Europe for a reason. So 9 with 4, 6, no, with 4, 6, with 10. Throw that on my picks. Now the fun part, see what those odds are. 9, 3 to 1. Bet that's the morning line favorite. 10 to 1 or 4 to 1 on the 10. The 6 is 10 to 1. And 7 to 2. Yeah, it makes sense for the European shippers. 4 to 1 on Tam Tam. I'm totally against Tam Tam this race. But the 6 at 10 to 1. Guess lost to Victoria Stream. Beat Victoria Stream. 1.5 lengths ahead of looking at Diamond. Yeah, I think the 4. Yeah, I'm actually gonna put a slash behind this 4 because I do like them a bit more than the 6 and the 10. I'll change that to 9/4, so 9/4 on top. That could be a cold exacta or a 1x1x2 try. That 6 though, that pivotal. But has lost to Victorious or beat Victoria Stream, lost to Victoria Stream and Wild Like the West. Came back. It's Phil D'Amato on the turf. Pivotal, Hector Barrios. 9 could be a single in the pick 4 though. Alright, Pacific Classic. I'm going to go take a whiz and grab a drink. I will be back in just a few minutes. Okay. Now for the main event. Let's see, we got mile and a quarter, Pacific Classic, 3 and up. I think this is the lone filly in the race. Never out of the money at Del Mar. Likes this track. We're in second last time out. Off about a 2-month layoff. Looks like a bit of a closer. Let's just look at the speed figures. Hit a mid 90s once, high 80s, low 90s, high 90s, cracked 102. Japanese runner, I've heard a bit about. Everything I heard, this horse should be pretty forwardly placed. Subsanador, 7-year-old. It's gone off form. Hasn't run cracked 100 since about this time 2 years ago. Has a mile workout, which is interesting. A 6 furlong workout, some bullet workouts. The 5, low 90s, cracked 100s last summer. Couple high 90s, low 90s last couple times. Hit 100 several times, low 90s, pretty consistent horse and hit show. Low 90s. Horse has cracked 100 last 2 times, high 90s before that. Candy Ride has the record for this race time wise. I think it was 159.11. Covered that in my race preview video. I think it's same sire and dam sire as Shared Belief, who won it in 2014. Full Serrano. John Sadler's won this race 4 times in the last 12 years. Mid 80s, mid 90s, cracked 100 at this track. 3 wins at this track. Alright, looks like a mid to high 90s, maybe into the hundreds will win this today. Oh, forgot to look at kind of, so off the pace. Looks like got some speed there. 3 I expect to be forwardly placed somewhere. Bit off the pace, bit on the pace. Happened last time for this horse. Looked like he was close to the pace 2 and 3 back. It was a grade 2. The horse just did not show up. Ran good at Churchill, Keeneland, Fairgrounds. That was a pretty soft race. Hit Joe, bit of a closer, mid-pack-ish. This could be forwardly placed, maybe the front half of mid-pack perhaps. Forwardly placed. And forwardly placed. So it looks like this race could heat up, so wouldn't mind taking a stab with some good prices on a horse that'll come from off of the pace a bit. This horse has won a grade 3 and an ungraded stake at this track. Ran second a grade 1 here. Closing, that finishing time is at 33 and 0.1. Not the fastest closing time. It's only a 2-month break. Well off of nitrogen, well off of Splendora. It would be formidable here. Hard to get too excited for Almond Joy. Just kind of in over her head. Kind of an interesting spot. Bit of a front running type here. Buckled at the start last time. Before that, ran very well at Santa Anita in a 5-horse field, the grade 2. It's never run at Del Mar. Last one before that was at Tampa. Lost a Parchment Party, he was pretty solid. Came back to wire the field here. Went 1.25 miles. Fairly cozy lead. This horse is not going to get an easy lead up front. Last time it sort of stalked was at Tampa for optional 32. Other than that, kind of is a need the lead type, it would appear. Three by Gunrunner. No, he's a good dirt router. It's 1-for-1 at the distance in a 16-horse field. This horse also, I guess, could had a chance to win the equivalent of the Japanese Triple Crown, but opted to come here. Apparently they want to see if they have a Breeders' Cup type horse. He's run pretty well left-handed. So if we think the 3's going to be forwardly placed, the 2's going to be forwardly placed. Yeah, if they win this race, the winning you're in. 4 will be coming from off of it. It's never raced at Del Mar. Bandella's got 1 win in this race in the last 12 years. Mike Smith has the most wins in this race with 4. The mile workout, 6 furlong workout, some nice 5 furlong workouts. Be National Treasure and Newgate on a grade 3. Has won against 6-horse fields at Santa Anita and a grade 3 at Monmouth. Horse is now 7. Don't mind the workouts. Closer could work out in this race. Last 3 races have just been no-shows. Hard to get excited about the 4, but I don't mind the workouts. Nyquist, Tisnow, some good breeding there. Got trounced by Forge Steel at Santa Anita. He's never raced at Del Mar. This is the only Southern California race this horse has run. Who's JJ riding now? Got to assume he's got a Mount, Original Sin, the 6, who he has not ridden before. This horse will be forward. Big step up for this one. Hard to see that one running huge. Curlin, Unbridled Song. Decent pedigree there. What happened this last time? Far outside, breaking from the 10 post. This horse has won from pretty far out of it. Optional claimer 80. Stepped up to a grade 3. Won from just off the pace. Beat Hit Show, who's got a nice body of work. Came back wide. Says only 3 and 2 wide. It's got smashed by Phileas Fogg, who has a good track record at Saratoga. Lost the Hit Show. What happened to Hit Show when he ran? Bumped brake, traffic, so he just had a lot of traffic in that race. This horse runs pretty well at Churchill. Closed pretty strongly to finish 3rd there. Broke his maiden going a mile. Came back to Churchill, won this Blame. Hit Show just had plenty of trouble, it would appear. 2nd to Magnitude last year. Came back to win the grade 3. Lost to Magnitude in that big Dubai World Cup race. Came back, had lots of traffic. This race finished 2nd, but well beaten. Tistastic, I think, is a budding good horse. He's never run at Del Mar. Well beaten by Mindframe. Lost to Mystic Dan. It's one of those every other type horses, I guess. By Candy Ride out of a Tappet. Very good breeding there. Horse seems to be working just well enough. Seven's interesting. 3 races at Del Mar, a 2nd, 1 win at this distance. Lost to Forge Steel and Malarchuk, who not huge on. Race before that, a grade 3 at Keeneland. Forward and faded pretty poorly. Won the Santa Anita handicap, only a 5-horse field. Getaway cars, nothing fantastic. Vodka. Lost to Skippy Longstocking. Half length to Nevada Beach. Pretty good horse when he's on his game. These are all turf races down here. or the 4-horse field. Still lost, but for his best run at Del Mar in a 4-horse field, I'm not really sold on that. The 9 Navajo Warrior Candy Ride Stormcat, good breeding there. 1-for-1 at the distance, which I guess they're considering the mile and 3/16. This one's the last 3. Gosker, and that's the horse that Journalism beat in the Preakness. There's one from a little bit off of it. 4-horse field, granted. This horse I do not think is going to be loose on the lead like this. Not 6 lengths out in front. Battled back, but that was a slower pace than I would expect here. Does Safi have 2 in this? Who else is he sending out? And 2. He's got 2 speed type horses, it looks like, and I've heard a lot of podcasters mention how he tends to enter 2 and always scratch 1. I think that could be, I mean, the 9 is probably his better chance, I would guess. But I don't think it's going to be an easy go. Full Serrano. Three wins at Del Mar, none at the distance. Seven-year-old on the second in the Pacific Classic 2 years ago to Mixto. I think was like 50-1 that day. Came back, win the Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile. Then dropped him to an optional claimer. Came back in a grade 1. Well beaten by Nisos, Citizen Bowl, Chance McPatrick. Went to Gulfstream, which can be kind of a fickle track. Some horses take to it, some don't. Lost to East Avenue, who's an interesting horse, but stumbled and wide. John Sadler's won this race 4 times in the last 12 years. Bad trip last time out. Can sort of forgive the Gulfstream Park. Lost to Wide Barrio, Skippy Longstocking. Here's Titan to the first turn. Nisos, arguably one of the best dirt routers in the U.S. before he just recently retired. Horse has some nice 6 furlong workouts. Like to see that. Ten is a little interesting. The 11. Nice breeding. Nyquist out of a Bernardini. Again, loose on the lead. There's one from just off at Gulfstream. 5-horse field. Been training at Saratoga as of August 14th. Sure, this horse will be favored just based on that big last figure, but this could be a battle up front. So the bad break and going wide, this horse really stayed on. Really didn't lose ground. Kind of rushed up and then ran evenly for the rest of the race. It's only a mile. That was only a mile though. In this race, Gulfstream Park can be a fast track. Horses take to it or they don't. In this race, stayed on pretty well. Race before, 24 seconds, and then 25 and change. Stayed on, blew the doors off of them. Full Serrano's a little interesting to me. Navajo Warrior will try to take first crack at Knightsbridge. Hitcho, this horse is like every other. Horse has never, well, I guess he ran in the Santa Anita handicap in last year. Ran third, soundly beaten. Won by 1 length in a grade 3, ahead in a grade 3. Doesn't really put his competition away all too often. Really struggling at the grade 1 level. What can I say about the 10 that I liked a bit? Is won a grade 1, 13 horse field at this track. I think I like the 10 more than the 7. Everyone else has taken huge step ups in class. Subsanador. Got the mile workout and some 5 furlong workouts. Lost a cornucopian who's going real well. Off about a 1.5 year layoff. Came back, improved, stumbled out of the gate. Mike Smith. I don't think I like him more than the 10. What about Finger? It was a muddy track. Finished in 2 minutes and 4 seconds. Secretariat ran the Derby in like what? Just under 2 minutes exactly, or 2 minutes flat. Mm-mm-mm. Heard good things about Finger, but I think that just sets it up for more of a closer. I've heard that the 3 is just gonna be gunning it, or at least contesting the lead. I'm enjoyed. See, had a string of bad races here, grade 1s. Not like the turf. Came back in a grade 2, won pretty easily. It's just a peculiar spot for this horse, but could be one of the deeper closers. Maybe this gets a rail trip. It's run very well at this track, but that was falling apart fast, and this horse could not quite get up in a 34-second final, 3/16. Like, really need to pace meltdown, which is not impossible in this race, seemingly. I mean, 8 path, 4 wide, lost the crop, 3 wide, too late. And these fractions are just too slow late. This horse would need a lot of help, which again, I think could get. The 4 is a little interesting. Sixes run quite well from off the pace in the past. Six is interesting. 47 to the half, and then 24.7, and then 24.8, and then 12.3. Kind of stayed on late. Saratoga just did not run great. So got a 90 buyer after finishing 18 lengths off. Lost the Corporate Power, who's a pretty good horse. Horse would just need the pace meltdown, I guess. Which again, I think is possible. I do think I like the 10 on top. I think Knightsbridge should be respected. I like the 10 on top. I think can stock right behind the speed. The 4. What am I getting myself into with this 4? I can just sort of excuse the last 3 races. The ones before that, ahead in a grade 1 6-horse field against National Treasure. 12.5 for the final 8th and was getting caught up to. Has a 2nd place finish in a grade 1 7-horse field going this distance. That was kind of on the lead. Hit show, I guess I'm against because never really rises to the grade 1 occasion. The 11 hasn't won a grade 1. Was only 3/4 of a length in front of Journalism. Lost to Nisos. Not sure who he beat in that last race. I think the 10 and the 4. I think this race is ripe for an upset. Hit show. It's got the running style that could work, but just hasn't really rid. Well, it's by Candy Ride as well, out of a Tap It. That's good. I'm gonna get sucked into this one. Hey there, Dale Mar. That's a good one, Chris. Sea Logs. I mean, it has to be a pace meltdown for the one underneath, but I could see there being a pace meltdown. I really can. Turf, I can excuse it. 8 wide. Losing the nitrogen. First time off several months. God, something about the one that just makes me want to put her underneath. I think 10, 4, 1, all separated. 10 with 10 or 4 over the 1. Got the 9, 3, and 11 underneath. I just think this pace could just get really fast. I think things could get cooking. I mean, someone's got to go, or it's Knightsbridge that goes. Then they got to try and come get him early. They can't let Knightsbridge get away with a loose lead, and if anyone else goes, they're going to have to run their eyeballs out to keep Knightsbridge off of them. I just really smell the potential for a meltdown, so I'm looking for closers. 8's got to win at the distance, sired by Justify. This race didn't have much pace. This race fairly moderate. This race had some pace, but at Gulfstream I can kind of forgive those races. 4-horse field, it lost. Nevada Beach is a good horse when he's on, so kind of forgive, but just unable to outkick. On a 5-horse field. On a 10-horse field on the turf. Baltus is cold, Jockey's cold. Definitely think the 7 could get up, but hard to put him on a win end. The 6. I think that last race is going to turn a lot of people off. $44-7, or 24-7, 24-8, and then 12-3. Should be 24-6. So kind of maintained his speed. Not the toughest of races. Then you had this clunker. Don't mind the breathing. I think 10/4. Something about this 4. I just keep coming back to. I think I can forgive the long layoff. It's got a mile workout. 6 for lots of long workouts. Mike Smith has the most wins in this race. I think can just give this horse a sharp ride. First race off a long layoff. Stumbled next time out. Ran relatively evenly. Last race, bumped at the start, inside and eased up. But then they bring him back to this pretty tough race. It's an interesting spot for that 4 off of that effort. 10/4 with 1/7. I think that's the way I'm going to roll. Kind of a wild play. 10/4 with 1/7. I think Hit Show could run fine. Yeah, this horse just is making his second. He only beat Journalism in a grade 1 by 3/4, and I love Journalism, but he was very good. I'm not sure I'd call him great. And I'm just not sure who else Knightsbridge has been beating, and I don't think he's getting loose on the lead. He's ran great at Gulfstream. I just think going further, running as fast as he ran last time with pressure to his inside or outside. I mean, if Knightsbridge wins, I will not be surprised in the slightest. But I just think from a pace dynamic, that Japanese horse, Knightsbridge, and a couple of others, Navajo Warrior, they're going to just be setting it up for someone that's going to be sitting off. So 20-1 on Almond Joy, who I sort of liked. I did not like the 2 at all. It was 5-1. Fingers 8-1. I think that's a pretty good price on that horse. So that's kind of interesting. 12-1. I'd rather take the Japanese horse. I thought Subsanador might be 15 or 20. Malarchuk, not a big fan. Original Sin, tough to get on board. Hit Show 6-1, feels about right. British Isles 12-1. 8-1 Navajo Warrior. Full Serrano 8-1. Knightsbridge 5-2. I mean, in the pick 4, if you can beat Knightsbridge, that's what's going to boost that payout. And I think there's enough for me to go against Knightsbridge. If he wins, I will not be shocked. I mean, I could add him based on how I structure the tickets. I mean, I really like the 9 in race 9. Maybe that's a single, and I spread a little more in race 10. Depending on, I guess, who I like in the final race. So, one more quick water and pee break, and then we'll wrap up this late pick 4 sequence. Alright, let's wrap this up. The Del Mar Mile Grade 2 going 1 mile for 3-year-olds and upwards. So let's see. Speed figures and running style. So a couple of mid to high 90s with some speed. Mid to high 90s. Bit off the pace. Low 90s, bit off the pace. Crack 91s, high 80s with some pace. The 5, bit off the pace, improving around that 90. 6 for starting America. See, he was running down south. Pretty good form. Just riding this one, Kimura. Mid 90s, bit off the pace. Yeah, this one is looking like a pretty competitive field. Mid 90s, kind of tailing off. Mid pack type, King of Gosford. Mid 90s, high 90s, cracked 100. 2 wins at the track, just 1 at the track. Wire to wire fashion last time out. Some pace. Mid 90s, high 80s. Mid 90s. Bit of a closer. Mid 90s, cracked 100, some speed. So it looks like plenty of speed signed on to this one, but going a flat mile. I guess I'll be looking at who fits at the grade 2 level. This horse's last win was a grade 3 on a good turf course, going a little bit further. 15 runs at Del Mar with just 2 wins, 2 seconds, 3 thirds. Has yet to win a grade 2. Lost El Patente. Lost El Patente. Beat Astronomer though. Right there with King of Gosford. So plenty of speed. He's pretty much going to have to go from the inside from what I can discern. Definitely this horse's preferred running style. Seal Team, Warfront, pretty good turf sire. Last win was a while ago. Five runs at Del Mar with the win, a second, a third. It's kind of ran evenly with them cutting back to a mile, who's 0 for 6 at the mile. But again, does have the running style for a race with a lot of speed. Lacked room here. Bit wide here. 4 wide here. So only interesting because there's so much speed, but 0 for 6 at the distance might just run out of time before the race is over. This horse does have a grade 3 win. Grade 3 win is a 2-year-old. Just ran a career best. Shook head at the start, turned away. 2 wins at the track. Big step up for this 3. Three runs at Del Mar, 2 seconds, 2 wins at the distance. Yeah, Barrios was riding Seal Team, couldn't get the job done in a grade 3, and Barrios, one of the better turf riders down there. Rispoli, a good turf rider, couldn't get the job done in a grade 3. Pratt couldn't do it. Johannes is a pretty good horse. Hernandez couldn't do it, got close. Yeah, I think might just come up a little bit short. None of the top turf jockeys in SoCal are on that one. Minaret Station just ran in a... Where did he run? He just ran somewhere... Oh, the Saratoga race. Came back, faced the Padre. Lost to that horse both times. Beat Sumter, came back to win. That was 6.5 down the hill. Won the last 2 times going a mile. Those are right up on the pace. Then last time, maybe just being out of the 1 hole, maybe got shuffled back a little bit. Keep looking. Just won at Del Mar, improving the speed figure. Sub 24, sub 30 there. How about the Santa Anita race? 23 and 5, 24 and 3, and then 23 and 6. Ironman Cal, decent horse. Turn the table on this Charlie's to blame horse. So a closer, which again I think can be very fruitful in this race. big step up in class. 11 horse field. But a big step up. 4 wins from 7 starts for the South American shipper. Has some nice workouts at Del Mar. 6 furlong workout on the turf here. 7 furlong workout on the dirt. 20 horse field at 1 after misjudging the wire. Yeah, this horse hasn't won at the distance, has won it longer. Just a little interesting. Kimura and Mandela, 5% together. Not seemingly his go-to jockey. And yeah, in a $5,000 allowance last time out, won. I guess the horse wasn't able to be claimed, but a big drop down from this grade 1 stake down there. Guessing if he's losing the miles but winning the longer ones, this horse might just be a bit of a closer, which again could work out here. Grade 1, ran second. Won a grade 3 by a neck over Seal Team. Grade 2, ran third, closing, saving ground. 3 wins from 10 starts at Del Mar with 2 seconds and a third. Second to grade 1. D'Amato and Fresu. Three-quarters of a length in a grade 2 at Del Mar. Second to Formidable Man. So Formidable Man has pretty much stopped this horse from winning 2, or a grade 1 and a grade 2, one at Del Mar. Won the Wicker pretty easily at Del Mar. Not run well here. About 2 lengths off of Formidable Man here. 2 workouts since then. Has lost to plenty others in this race. Bit of a deeper closer. Last race was a little more forwardly placed for some reason. Ran on pretty evenly, stayed on. Yeah, those, you're the 7 here. I mean, from staying on 48.96. This is 23 and 9, 23 and 5, and then 11 and 4. So they were speeding up, and he was hanging on. D'Amato's great on the turf in SoCal. Yeah, 7's a little interesting. Definitely fits the class level and is a closer, again, in a race that looks to have a ton of speed. This horse, he's Gulfstream Park. 5 wide, box into the first turn. 2 wins. Lost the boxed. Had a little issue there. Horse just has no wins on the page. Victor Espinoza, not who I think of when I think of turf jockeys. King of Gosford. It's one from off the pace. There's that formidable man again. Donegal Momentum, next out winner. 2 wins in 2 seconds from 6 starts. Pretty good at the distance. Rispoli just rode him. 1 ungraded stake granted. A neck off of Almendares. Length and 3/4. That was first race off 8 months or so. Del Mar Dirt Mile. Not sure what happened there. Seems like the horse is rounding back into form. Rispoli rode him wire to wire last time out. Looks like this horse doesn't want to be too far back with lots of speed in this race. It's a grade 2 win. Close in a grade 3. A few month layoff. It's 10, speedy. This is a pretty fast race right here. Beat 2 next out winners. Sumter, Motorious, Run of Sky. Those are all pretty good horses. Stretching back out. Last time he did this, he won. And this time he won. That's a little interesting. Is this just the speed of the speed type horse? I mean, I know this is down the hill, but they're cruising here. This horse stayed on pretty well last time. Does he ever win just off the pace? I guess right here he did at Del Mar. Much softer company. This one's a little interesting. The 11, Candy Ride, Kitten's Joy. Kitten's Joy should be just fine on the turf. Dynaformer should be fine on the turf. I think the 12 almost got there. That was a pretty fast race right here. Kind of interesting. They took him back and still ran pretty well. Grade 3 win. Took 9 months off. Stretched out to a mile and a 16th, ran pretty well. Cut him back. Probably not his game. Stretch him back out. Won a grade 3, no problem. Came back in a grade 2, ran pretty well. Horse was making up ground late when this race was fast throughout. I think the 12 is very interesting. Yeah, you got him pegged second. So quick scan through. I think I got the gist of this race. This horse down on the inside with lots of other speed. Every time this horse runs a big number, a high 90 seems to regress somewhat. I guess last year he was kind of on a roll. Can this horse improve off this 98? He's going to have to be running faster, going a flat mile. Sealed team. Just too many close races with so many others. Yeah, hopefully he's got enough speed where he can get down to the rail going into that first turn or pretty close to it. If he was more of a mid-pack horse, I'd have more concerns in terms of the trip he's going to get. SEAL team, Johannes was really good. Yeah, I'm just saying, if you're talking about Cabo's last race, they're going a mile and an eighth, so the pace was a bit slower. I just think when he's going to be pressed to run faster, closer to this race, he doesn't have a great showing. He's good at leading the field in these longer races where he can slow it down a bit more, but these flat miles, I think he's just asked to go a little too fast, was sort of my thinking. I think he's better at mile and an eighth maybe, where he can maintain, these 48s, 112s, but I think this race he's going to be closer to these 110s, which is why I thought it could set up for a deeper closer. Black Room went 10 wide, 4 deep. Big step up. The 2 I don't hate, but maybe not on the win end. Sealed team. That's 4. Big step up for this horse. Ran pretty well in the grade 2 here, going a bit further. It's 1 at the mile, last race. Another horse that might prefer a little longer. 5's going to be coming from way out of it. Not a bad run to Ironman Cow. He's a pretty good horse. Horse just kept coming and coming. 29 and 7. Which kept coming and coming. I think the 5, big jump up in class, but again, I think there's enough speed. It could set up for someone like him. The 6, I don't know what to do with the 6. Again, hasn't won at the mile, won it longer, so that's why I think I'll fade the 6. Maybe the 5, jumping up. Might need the longer. The 11. I'll get back there here in a minute, just kind of cruising through. Yeah, the 7's 1 mile races are pretty good too. I think you said you like, yeah, you have him on top. Last one in the grade 3, ungraded. When he comes flying, yeah, the 7's interesting. Of course, this doesn't have any good 1 mile races. I think the 9 is to be respected, but I think might be a little close to the pace for his own good. Doesn't really win from off of it very often. Pratt got in by the skin of his teeth last time. He was on the lead kind of by himself, and I don't think he's getting that today. Yeah, let me skip down to the 11. Kitten's Joy, like that for turf. Yeah, and came home 22-7, and you say he was flying. Blaine Wright, old Golden Gate trainer. Yeah, the class is kind of what I'm worried about with the 11, I guess. Last one was this optional claimer. Again, the pace could shape up well for him. He was 30-1, 67-1, 34-1. Kitten's Joy, though, gotta love that. Again, taking a closer, I think the 11's interesting. I think the 9 could be strung out a little too fast throughout. I'm with you on the 7, so I guess we're pretty similar with the top two, 12-7. Don't know what to do with the 6. I think the 5, a big class test, and probably wants the mile and a 16th at least. The 4 is interesting just because he ran so evenly last time in that fast race. After almost a year layoff, he'll be third off the layoff. Has 2 wins at the distance. Coming from just off of the pace. 1 down the hill from a little further back. This horse is classy, but no wins at the distance. Last wins were going a mile and an eighth. I think could just be tall order. I'm with you with the 12-7. I'm not sure who John Harpoon is. I guess freedom's not free. Beat that 3 twice. Once by a neck, once by 2 3/4 lengths. Yeah, JJ getting off. Pratt won on him by a neck and an ungraded stake. Did beat Ironman Cal. Was disqualified. I guess technically as, well, not technically, as 2 wins going in grade 3s. I guess that was as a 2-year-old. Just ran his career best race. But the jockey change is something to consider. Yeah, I guess 12-7. I think the 9 reluctantly maybe. I just think Rispoli's a good turf rider. I think he'll get the horse to kind of sit a good trip regardless of what unfolds in front. He can go to the lead or win from a little bit off. I do like the 12-7. I think the 4, 12-7. The 4 is interesting. Last time was in the 1 hole. Just kind of ran evenly. Probably saved ground, but maybe just didn't get clear running there. I feel like the 2's just had too many chances at the distance. 12-7, 12 or 7 with 4, 9. Now, look at the odds. 12, 7 to 2. Okay, quite short. Unfortunate. Was not expecting that. 6 to 1. And the 4, 12 to 1. The 9, 5 to 1. I think that's a square price on King of Gosford. Betting on preseason. I love it. Betting on the tryouts. Well, I think in that sequence, race 9, number 9, I don't know if that'd be the single. Who's the race 8, number 5? Pure Madness. No. 8, 9. Those are some 5 to 1s I think I liked. And I definitely think we agreed that race 8 was sort of the spreader. We got 5, 8, 9. 3 5 to 1s. And the 4 isn't even a total toss. What about Bo Nix? He get injured? Race 9, have the 9, 4, 6, 10. Oh yeah, the 2 Europe shippers. So if you go 3 by 2 by, I guess in the Pacific Classic I could take a big stand and take the 10 and the 4. 12 to 1. And 8 to 1. It's the 7. Hit show 6 to 1. Yeah, I usually like to play maybe a $12 ticket, maybe 18. So I'm thinking race 8, take 3 horses. Race 9, take those 2 European horses. Race 10, maybe where I would make the money is if I could get the 10 or the 4 home. Maybe even throw on the 7 just because it's beating Knightsbridge. Or I get real bold and go 3 by 2 by 4. So that's $12 for every horse I'd take in the 11th. And take the 12 and the 7. $24 ticket. That's a little steeper than I like to play pick 4s. But I'm just trying to wonder where most of my confidence is. In race 11, not super confident. I think race 10 would just be the spot where I maybe make a stand. I guess you could always look at race 8, see the odds that open up, and check the probable pays in the double to get a better idea of who's live. Who's riding that 9? Is that Rosario? Yeah, rode him last time. Four by 2. by 2 by 4. Nah, it's a 32. That's too much. Oh, I see. Bet on Bo Nix and the Steelers. Well, I put slash, so I had some conviction there. So I think I would go race 8, 3. They're all 5-1s. Race 9, 2. Race 10, take my top 2. And race 11, you take 2 or 4. Who's the 4? King of Gosford. I think I'd rather take King of Gosford than that 4, so let me swoop that around. So now we're looking at 3 by 2 by 2 by 3. $18 ticket. We'll ride it out. Or add hit show, make it 24. But I think I saw enough about hit show that I'm willing to fade. I mean, or try another ticket where I single that 9. He's already got the grade 1 win. That might be the move. Or four times 3, 12 times 3, 36. So now stick with your convictions. So it'd be 3 times 3, 9 times 3, 27. So 1350. I think I like that second ticket better because you're beating Knightsbridge. You got 3 5-1s to start it off, and you got some decent prices in the last. I think that second one is the way to go. But either way, I'm gonna take a picture of that screen because I kind of like that second wager. Either way, that is a wrap for me tonight. I don't know if you have any ideas what to cover next. I know I'll probably start working on Travers videos, do the race preview, but I'll also try to do a field preview with the prediction. I kind of enjoy that. Plus, if you go to that Excel spreadsheet that I share in the descriptions of those videos, I've like all the paces for all the races, and it's just kind of cool to see the times of the races at the top tier, grade 1 level races. How fast are they actually running those final quarters and then final 8s, and then when you come handicap, you can kind of compare to the cream of the crop. So probably work on Travers stuff next. If there's ever a midday card or midweek card you'd want to do this kind of thing on, I'm open to that. But other than that, I just try to keep myself busy with whatever the big race of the week is, and just kind of add to the toolbox of information, just pedigrees and what horses are coming out of what races and all that good stuff. But that is it for me. I'm going to be signing off here in just a moment. Thanks for joining me and keeping the chat alive. Wish more people would collaborate, but my channel's only so big, so yeah, I don't know if I follow you on Twitter. I know I started following some people, but let me know what you play tomorrow. I'm thinking I'll probably play that second ticket that I just played, that 1350, because I like that other European shipper, but it did seem like he's more of a closer, and I thought that that 9 that had the grade 1 win at Saratoga, I don't know if that'd be better Sunday. I used to play Golden Gates pretty much exclusively on Sundays. I'd print the form Thursday night and mark them up all week till Sunday. But let me know what you play. Either leave it in a comment in any video and I'll get the alert, or hit me up on Twitter if I follow you. But yeah, I think that second ticket I'm leaning towards playing. God, I should really fade Hit Show though. I don't know. I think I should fade Hit Show. Yeah, well, I do what I can. But that's it. Reach out to me. Let me know what you play. I'll probably play that second ticket, but I might take off Hit Show just to save a few bucks. But I don't know. I may have to sleep on that one. But good luck tomorrow. Thanks for sticking around. Just reach out to me if there's anything you'd like me to cover. Otherwise, yeah, I'll probably start working on the Travers tomorrow night or something. But I'm accessible. At the end of my videos, I have like contact information too if you want to follow me elsewhere. But again, appreciate you coming by and commenting and watching all my stuff over these years. But good luck tomorrow, and I'll see you next time.